Here we are a full 10 minutes later. The water is still sitting on top in the poorer soil, the less carbon, the less dark colour soil, the paler coloured soil with no airways and few airways and passageways, few aggregates, poor crumb structure. Soil on the left hand side has beautiful crumb structure, and these were formed by bacterial glues gluing particles of soil together into microaggregates, and then fungi joining those microaggregates with their fungal strands, holding those together in macroaggregates. The fungi also secrete glomalin, which is like a glue holding those soil particles together like pellets, creates all these beautiful tunnels. And then we get, of course, the worms with their slime, which inoculates the channels they make with good bacteria coming out of their rear end. Pseudomonas, Bacillus serenade, and other good bacteria that break down toxic residues in soil. If you have earthworms, it means you have a pretty good soil food web, pretty good whole set of organisms from bacteria and fungi up. And because the worm is a predator and more of a meat eater than a herbivore, it's more eating the protozoans and bacteria and so forth on the rotting lettuce than the lettuce itself. You can see that the soil on the right, hopefully you can see the soil on the right, still hasn't percolated that water. And what this means is, if you've got soil that isn't accepting water, you could be standing there for a very long time trying to wet your garden in summer. You could be holding a garden hose for 8 hours a day, which is what I've been doing up until recently. I hope this summer, with the application of compost teas made from quality compost with all the right organisms and the entire food web in it, I won't be. I'll be just giving my garden a water for half an hour, and it'll all be beautifully wet right down into the root zone. But I can tell you, in these times of climate change, in the last several summers, and many friends are reporting the same, we're standing there for a long time with garden hoses trying to wet our soil. It's only wet for the first 2 millimetres after an hour. We don't know where it's going, but I suspect it's running into deep places and running into depressions, which is why it's really good to make depressions to hold water. Because when you haven't got good soil, the first thing you should do is make swales, pits, small pits, but particularly swales, which are banks, like a contour bank, a soft mound of earth on the contour, a windrow, if you like, on the contour, and this intercepts water. The water will no longer run straight sheet off the paddock down into the creek, but it will sheet off until it gets to a swale. Hopefully you have swales every 20 metres, 18 metres apart. They only take a few hours to make with a tractor and a front bucket. You can do it on a smaller scale with a garden spade. You obviously need to get your levels right with a dumpy level, a laser level, which is luxury, or a bunyip, a water level, or even just a A-frame with a spirit level attached to it and a plumb bob perhaps. You'll figure it out. Or come to our workshop, how to use a laser level and make swales. We have them regularly, so at least once every 2 years. But ask for a workshop, we'll do one. Still the water sits on top. Fun. And it's not like that soil is terribly devoid of life. It's on an organic farm and there is a fair bit of life, but obviously nowhere near enough. We'll get to it. We'll fix you.